In today's video we will discuss the top 10 best Blumhouse horror movies. I am your host Eric. Please make sure you subscribe to the Top 10 Jaw-Dropping Facts channel to stay updated with new videos, releasing Monday through Friday each week. Jason Blum, the one-time Miramax executive, struck out on his own in the 2000s when he founded Blumhouse Productions, a company where he remains the CEO. Operating on the philosophy that a horror film with a micro-budget will almost always turn a profit, Blum frequently allows directors broad freedom to make what they want within the genre, and in the process has kept multiplexes perpetually spooky. We will list the top 10 best Blumhouse horror movies. Number 10. Oculus. The film that brought much of the world's attention to Mike Flanagan, Oculus, turned out to be a preview for the horror filmmaker's interests. It also remains a truly unnerving ghost story. Not since the days of Dead of Night has a film so successfully made you scared of looking in a mirror. Number 9. Happy Death Day. The Groundhog Day formula, where an odious person is doomed to relive the same day countless times, has proven remarkably flexible. And Happy Death Day is no exception, with its horror comedy blend of punxsutawney hijinks and 80s slasher movie cliches. Starring a ridiculously game Jessica Roth as Tree, the sorority girl who is constantly waking up with the hangover from hell, Happy Death Day follows the typical queen bee slasher archetype and forces her to relive the same horror movie again and again, until she can figure out who her masked killer is, and maybe how to be a better person. Number 8. Hush. This thriller is from Mike Flanagan, director of The Haunting of series and Dr. Sleep fame. Flanagan and his co-writer and star, and also wife, Kate Siegel, wanted to make a horror movie with little to no dialogue. So they came up with this concept of a deaf-mute woman, Siegel, in a remote house, who is stalked by a killer with a crossbow. Number 7. Upgrade. Juanel paid his dues at the production house for 15 years as both a writer and helmer before unleashing his sophomore directorial effort, Upgrade. The film, which follows ludicrously named technophobe Gray Trace after he loses his beloved wife in a violent mugging, sees a paralyzed hero get implanted with a chatty chip that allows him to regain the use of his whole body. Soon Trace become virtually superhuman, imagine an internal KITT, but all is not as it seems. Number 6. Halloween. In resurrecting one of horror's most enduring yet stubbornly uneven franchises, director David Gordon Green, working with screenwriters Danny McBride and Jeff Fradley, made the smartest move he could. He stripped away the ridiculously convoluted and nonsensical mythology the franchise had built up over decades. Number 5. Split. Playing a character with 24 different personalities, a shaved and beefy McAvoy is visibly giddy, bouncing between multiple alters that include a deceptively sweet little boy, an OCD fashion designer, and a bestial final form. The commitment he shows to each also becomes its own special effect, causing you to swear his physical shape is changing with his expressions. Number 4. Paranormal Activity. It may take some mental gymnastics, but if you can take a step back and ignore all the sequels that followed in the wake of this surprise 2009 blockbuster, then you'd remember Paranormal Activity is a stone-cold classic. It is also the movie that put Blumhouse on the map. Already mostly finished when Jason Blum saw a DVD screener of Warren Pelly's Paranormal Activity, this $15,000 budgeted terror is arguably the most evocative use of found footage in all of horror. Number 3. Insidious. As the fourth feature film directed by Australian filmmaker James Wan, Insidious follows a couple named Josh and Renee Lambert, Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne, whose son inexplicably falls into a coma and becomes a vessel for malevolent entities from a dimension called the Further. The family enlists a psychic named Elise Rainier, Lynn Shay, in a battle involving astral projection and demonic possession. Number 2. The Invisible Man. Lee Juanel's reimagining of the classic Universal monster, The Invisible Man, was as much of a surprise when it hit screens earlier this year as the titular villain himself. As a smart social commentary on domestic abuse and gaslighting, while also being enormously effective as a straight-up horror, this was a highly fresh take on an old standard. Number 1. Get Out. More impressive than any awards it won, Jordan Peele's Get Out encapsulates the essential draw of horror. Through entertaining scares, it unmasks truths folks might find too horrifying or uncomfortable to acknowledge. In the case of Get Out, it is the despair of blackness and black bodies still being commodified by a predatory American culture. Rather, Peele sets his story about a black man, Daniel Kaluuya, coming to meet his white girlfriend's parents in a liberal conclave of wealthy suburbia. Written during the final days of the Obama years, Peele casts these parents, Bradley Whitford and Catherine Keener, as genial and welcoming, shielding cries of racism behind fashionable political correctness. Yet once Peele moves past the trendy veneer, he finds a potent allegory in which the ghosts of slavery are still alive and well, even in upstate New York. Peele also packs anxieties about interracial relationships, culture clash, and childhood trauma into a film that is nevertheless gregariously funny. Ultimately though, its final effect is triggering in the best way. If you are looking for a certain type of horror film, Blumhouse has you covered. He has created and helped out on a wide variety of scary movies that everybody will enjoy. Hope you enjoyed our top 10 best Blumhouse horror movies. Please leave a comment below for any movie you think we should have added. Do not forget to subscribe to the Top 10 Jaw-Dropping Facts channel. And new episodes release every Monday through Friday.